Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and before I get going, I want to play this video for you because, as many of you know, we've been watching a Bitcoin PR marketing machine, and I think it's multifaceted. I think it's through social media, and now I think it's through, I can actually show you, and I'm going to in the group, how it's also AI. Everything that AI does is pre-programmed. In other words, you feed it a narrative and it can run with it. Well, they're running with the same narrative, and they're lying as necessary when it comes to the whole Bitcoin thing versus XRP. This will convince you. I've been convinced for a long time, but they are trying their best in every way possible. It's a total PR campaign in every way possible to get us to look over here at Bitcoin, when they all know that this new financial system cannot and is not being built on Bitcoin. I think the Monex put this out. This is their CEO, Mark Otto, and I think he says it just right here.
Any final thoughts? We're wrapping up with our last few minutes. Any final thoughts you want to share with the XRP community before we wrap?
Just a thank you, and I'm one of you. We're all here because we see what other people's don't. We hold a certain frequency to not only understand cryptocurrency and technology, but to have an intuition or a knowing of what's to come. Because there's millions of cryptocurrency holders around the world, but they don't see over the horizon. They get excited about markets going up and down and cows jumping around the Bitcoin conference. But to be in this room, you hold a special cosmic royalty. You see what's coming and you stand to benefit and really help out your family for generations to come. So
I couldn't have said it better. That guy so anyway, I'm going to show you, I'm going to use XRP versus Swift in the group today, and I'm going to show you just how bad the lies and the misdirection are in this space. And trust me, it is intentional, and it's by design, and it probably involves all kinds of you-know-who agencies too. If you can go to daixrp.com to join the group, or you can click join right below any of my YouTube videos if you'd rather join through YouTube. And you also now, you now have a third option. You can subscribe through my X profile if you'd rather join the group through that. I post to all three of those places. Speaking of XRP Las Vegas, Brad Combs from Digital Perspectives did a wrap-up video today.
What a weekend! XRP Las Vegas 2025, the world's largest XRP conference, was nothing short of legendary. To our incredible attendees, thank you for showing up, leaning in, and being part of a record-breaking event. To our sponsors, your belief in this community helped power every moment on and off the stage. To our speakers, your insights are shaping the future of finance, Web3, and beyond. To our event planners and behind-the-scenes crew, none of this magic happens without you. And to the MGM Grand, thank you for being the perfect host for this unforgettable experience. This was more than a conference. It was a movement. Connections were made. Ideas were shared. Momentum is being built. And guess what? We're just getting started. Stay tuned for ticket info for XRP Las Vegas 2026 coming soon. Let's keep building the future together.
I've been talking to Brad Combs behind the scenes, and it's going next level this year. There's going to be some new things, and he's going to be launching ticket sales soon, because this year there was over 1,000 people there. Next year, I got my money on somewhere in the 2,000 to 5,000 if I was guessing. I found another video from I don't even know if I'm saying it right, Teucrium, something like that. This is Sal Gilberti.
I'm going to say no. I couldn't. We didn't really quantify. It's impossible to guess what the flows might be, but we knew there was a pent up demand for this, and we really did jump through some hoops to get it to be first, and we got a great ticker. You know, a 2x exposure with an XRP. So it double your exposure, double XRP. It's an easy ticker. We were first to launch. That naturally brought the pent up demand for flows. So we've been very, very happy with it. The flows have been tremendous here in 7 weeks' time, and we hope for more success.
Yeah, it certainly seems like there's a captive audience for XRP. I hear about it all the time on X. Everyone's talking about XRP. Seems to have a very, I don't know if it's cult-like following is the right word, but maybe you can tell people who aren't familiar with XRP what exactly is the case for XRP and how is it different than something like Bitcoin or Ether?
Sure. Well, Bitcoin is in my view, just a store of value. I mean, people do use it. They're writing programs to use it. But let's face it, it's a store of value. It's digital gold. That's what Bitcoin is right now. And so Ether, I'm not so sure. Okay, I don't understand Ether as well as I understand XRP. And XRP has a use case. So Ripple, the company that issued XRP, is what they call building the rails. So they're building the background behind the scenes in finance primarily, but it can apply to anything that's going to be tokenized. And XRP is the tool. It's the token that's going to be used on those rails. And we find that the Ripple team is very professional. They're very single-minded in their purpose, which is to build out a digitized financial system and a tokenized financial system. They're doing it. We believe they're the most professional out there. We believe they're the most dedicated out there. We can be wrong, but they are professional and they are dedicated. So we believe in that. And that's why we launched an XRP. Well, I think at times it's all true. I think the market is looking for trading vehicles. We honestly, we're a derivative shop, and so it's our area of expertise. And anybody who's really interested in crypto and XRP, they know how to buy it. They just know how to buy it directly. And so our view was offer a product that isn't easily accessible, and that's a 2x levered product. And that's what we did. And so will it be more or less volatile than Bitcoin? Probably yes, probably no, depends on when you look at it. Will it have more upside than Bitcoin? A lot of people say yes. I think that the use case for XRP as it builds, that's the thing about it. It actually has a use case. It has a use. And so we don't make price predictions here, but I do think that in terms of the very long-term outlook and the tokenization of everything as that comes down, given that XRP is a useful token, I think that XRP has the potential for some very good upside. Now, again, it's a volatile fund. It's a 2x. There's a lot of risk, so people need to be careful when they trade it. But XRP is another interesting token, and we think it's very useful, and there's obviously an appeal to the investors.
You got that right. Give me some yield and see what happens. Vet, time for RLUSD stats. Ethereum and XRP ledger total supply 428 million. Supply on ETH 362. On XRPL 65. 85% of RLUSD is on Ethereum. Total holders 36. I don't know why I put the dot, but it's 36,000. Holders on ETH 3,100. Holders on I don't know what the deal is with the commas here. It's kind of confusing. Oh well. Here is Ray Fuentes with Hugo Filion from Flare talking XRP.
Vivo Power is really the first treasury company for XRP. You can think of it a bit like MicroStrategy, Sailor's company, but for XRP instead of for Bitcoin. Firelight will offer XRP staking, i.e. the ability to stake XRP to get a yield. This is very interesting and hopefully valuable proposition for the XRP community to be able to remain long their XRP asset, but also get a yield on it at the same time. When you design protocols, you can't be certain. You think they're going to work, but before you've built them and before you see how they work in the real world, they are purely theoretical, right? The fundamental drawback of decentralization is that there's no one to talk to if something goes wrong. I'm not here to make money over the next couple of weeks or months or whatever. I'm here to build something that I stand behind and that I'm comfortable with. That said, I think the future is very bright for that.
Bullish is what he's saying, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, what's going on?
Okay, and then we have, now this right here is the Canary Funds CEO. His name is Stephen McClurg. Listen to what he says about XRP.
Big industrial uses, enterprise uses. It's a little bit different than your typical blockchain. But when I was in Korea, I realized that it was a top 5 traded token. And there was also a lot going on there. And by the way, that's also how I got to focus on XRP, because it's another one that's huge in Japan, huge in Korea. And they usually lead the way in technology, those two countries. I mean, that was something I learned from my days in video games, right? You know, those two countries led the way in video games. You know, they had a version of the iPhone 5 years before we had the iPhone. They were using it for, you know, consumer purposes when we were still on commercial over here back in 2007. Big industrial uses.
All right, let me go to the next one. This is Chad Steingraber. He says an IPO is not only about the need for capital. Ripple may say they're not going to do it right now. That's just it, right now, not never. These are the real reasons they will. Public awareness, IPO generates media attention, enhanced reputation, scrutiny, transparency required for public listing. Traction of talent, being publicly traded can make it easier. And he's got this graphic here. What is an XRP and Ripple IPO? What you need to know. What's an ETF? What happens to XRP if Ripple IPO succeeds? I think if you just look at Circle, you see where this is all going, folks. Ripple versus Circle. Why is this big? Circle IPO recap. Stock jumped from 31 to actually almost 200 bucks, folks. Valuation soared, shows strong investor appetite for crypto stocks. Ripple pre-IPO valuation around 10. I think it's much more than that. Much lower than the tech giants. If Ripple hits similar valuations, XRP could surge. Exciting times, folks. And we do have stablecoin wars going on. Chair of China's National Institution for Finance and Development, Li Yang, says stablecoins extend US dollar power, calls for RMB stablecoin via Hong Kong to defend monetary sovereignty. We are going to have some stablecoin wars, folks. And just your friendly reminder, I told you cartoon monkeys were ridiculous back when they were surging and all. Now we had 3 years ago, someone spent $1.7 million to buy this picture. Today it's worth $761. I think I told you then, I'll tell you now, cartoon monkeys, it was nothing more than prototyping of real world asset tokenization, folks. And then we've got this. This is a good place to go into the group because the Bitcoin PSYOP is now in overdrive. They're jumping the shark here. This is their volume, not mine. You're just going to have to listen close.
Just in time for gold to rocket higher. You can see that physical Bitcoin gold is up about 9%.
She just called gold physical Bitcoin, folks. This PSYOP comes from all angles. It's PR companies, it's the influencers. They're all in. I'm telling you, it's a coordinated effort. The narrative, the whole thing. Every time XRP surges, they all come out in conjunction and start bashing it. It's been coordinated since I got here. It took me a couple of years to realize what was going on. Then when I saw Ripple get sued by the SEC, that was part of the reason I was able to uncover ETHgate, is because I had been watching this Bitcoin Ethereum campaign for all these years, and it never made any sense to me. It never made any sense to me when I first got in this that I would have to send Bitcoin and wait for all these confirmations, but I could get this XRP thing and send it, and it was done in 3 seconds. And it was inexpensive. That never made any sense to me. The reason I'm here is because I've always, from day one, it didn't make sense. XRP has made sense from the get-go. The idea that Ripple was working with regulators from the beginning, that's what adults do. All that down with the banks and down with the government stuff that the Bitcoiners were doing early on, it didn't make any sense. You're not going to get rid of governments. That's just the way it is, folks. And I've said it often. When I was 18, I would have been right there with the Bitcoiners. Yeah, down with the bank. I don't like the banks any more than they do. But I know better. At 51, I know better. So I'm going to show you more parts of the PSYOP, the AI part in the group. And I'm going to show you, we're going to talk Swift XRP. If you want to join the group, go to daixrp.com. You can also join by clicking the join button below any of my YouTube videos. And the third option is to subscribe through X. I have a subscription thing. You can join there if you'd like to. Just hit the subscribe button. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe. Hit the like button. Tell your friends and family.